Welcome, Jamie. We're so excited to have you and NAWBO with us.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
And one of these days, we'll be doing some more in-person stuff, so that'll be great. I love your background, Kathy. As you can see, purple is my favorite color, so I'm digging those purple flowers.
Oh, thank you. This is my brother and sister-in-law's backyard.
Wow.
So,
Kathy.
I know. I may have to switch it out for something seasonal now that winter is knocking on the door, but I don't want snow behind me.
Like, we kind of appreciate the flowers, actually.
Yeah.
True.
It's pretty gloomy outside today.
No kidding. How much snow did you guys get?
We probably got three or 4 inches. I don't know.
I read Ankeny got
You're
6
not far
or 7
away
inches.
from. What?
I read Ankeny got 6 or 7 inches.
Oh my gosh.
I saw Polk City had like 9.
I just,
Oh my gosh.
that's insane.
I haven't confirmed that with anybody in Polk City, but that's what
I like it. I'm going to put it on the internet now. It'll be true.
Yes, because whatever you read on the internet is
That's right.
It's true.
So welcome, everybody. We're so happy to have you here. We're going to be recording this too, which is great. So I joined NAWBO late last fall, and I was still fairly new to networking, so I kind of felt like a fish out of water a little bit. And so Michelle and I have been talking. Michelle and I are on the membership board, and we thought it'd be fun to just have kind of a networking 101 conversation, just some basics, some review, getting advice, just talking about best practices for networking. So I did a couple interviews with some fellow NAWBO women, and I put this together. Like, what's your advice for how they can get the best out of networking with NAWBO?
well, of course you need to show up or show up on the Zoom meeting. I would say get involved to the best degree that you can. Participate as much as you can and figure out what works best for your schedule. So because for the best networking, you have to do it often. People need to see you over and over again and get to know you. Still offer the opportunity to get to know you personally, get to know your business. And when you show up multiple times, then we're talking about various subjects. So you do get to know the members on a more personal level. And then I'll say, get involved to the next degree. Get on a committee, volunteer in whatever capacity you choose, and in your expertise, or learn something new. But when you get involved on a committee or at the board level, you know a smaller group of people more intimately, and they'll learn more about you and your business. And what that does is forms long-term relationships, more referrals, because it has broadened your circle quite a bit. And it also offers help when you need it, expertise in any type of business or service that you might need. A group of women who can relate to me, I can relate to them.
I have been a member of NAWBO for over 26 years. And I first got to know NAWBO from the national level when I was helping to organize the White House Conference on Small Business. And we were working with all the small business trade associations around the country. And I spent a lot of time with all the NAWBO representatives that were delegates to the White House Conference on Small Business. And so I really saw NAWBO from the national perspective, but also the local chapter perspective. I have always been a networker. Everybody always tells me I'm a born networker. My entire career and even before, just academically too, I was always involved in a lot of organizations. I'm a firm believer in connecting people to resources and to leveraging partnerships, and particularly in the business that we are in, for those of us that work for small businesses, that is what our job is. We're trying to help you to network and to connect to all the right resources that will help you to get started in business or to grow your business. And I think that NAWBO is a great example of that type of organization. Because I think just connecting your business to resources is so critical. And that's really how you're going to grow and get more business from all the referrals. And I think it's so important. Yes, there's so much that we do locally, and we have all these events and training sessions and everything. But NAWBO, if you really want to maximize the impact of NAWBO on your business, I think it's so critical to get engaged on the national level. I have shared this with friends over the years. I've been involved with, I don't even know how many NAWBO chapters, and helped start up 2 different chapters in other states too. But I always encourage everybody to get involved, network into other chapters, whether it's being a subject matter expert for other chapters for their workshops, especially right now with everybody doing everything by webinars and online. I think there's a real opportunity to market your business to other NAWBO chapters around the country. But I just encourage, don't just attend the local networking things. Look at NAWBO nationally. Go to the national conferences. Go to the regional conferences. Get engaged, because you're really going to maximize your membership by doing that. And I think too, just with speaking in addition to NAWBO, there's so many different organizations from chambers and different special interests that could be very helpful to you. You want to really tie in your who your audience is, for who you're looking to, who's your primary customer. And just for example, if you wanted to sell to larger businesses and manufacturers, you might look at Association for Business and Industry locally. They're like a state chamber of commerce or a manufacturers association that you see in other states. And you want to just really target your networking to organizations that can really help you in business as well.
Always call myself a recovering networker, and I truly mean that. I would attend everything, any and everything. I eventually became burned out because I was also attending some networking groups that didn't align with my mission and my culture that I had envisioned for Trixie's. And more likely I had ended up going because it was a referral. Okay, and I didn't, want to let someone down. It was a friend of a friend or a business of a business, and so I would go. 2 years ago, I really, really, really narrowed it down to the groups that, 1, I feel comfortable with. 2, I can be my authentic self, and 3, I know that when I refer business or vice versa, it is a partnership. We are working together. It's a sisterhood, and we talk a lot about the sisterhood within NAWBO. And second of all, you guys, just be your authentic self. Sincerely, just be who you are. Be who you are. And if you are meant to be in that group, then you will be. Also, don't just pay your dues, okay? You have to be involved. You have to be involved. Whether it is to sit on a committee or be a mentor, be involved. Don't just pay your dues. Now, people can be scared or might not know how to get involved, but I think that's where NAWBO does a really good job of teaming people up with committees that they might want to have an involvement with. So you have to, don't be afraid to ask is the long version of that. Do not be afraid to ask.
Someone who's newer to networking or newer to NAWBO as far as making this work for them or benefit them?
Over the years, I think invaluable to me, and this goes both in terms of my input to the organization and also what I get out of it, are one-on-one relationships that you don't just land upon. You know, there are things that take a little effort, and so when I finally find the time, and it's been worth it every time, to pick up the phone, maybe even go through the directory that we have online, the membership directory, and see, you know, who don't I know yet? And then you could start by going through, get 10 of our members who you don't know yet and make sure you're following them on their social media or connected on LinkedIn. And maybe that's the way you start. You know, you do the LinkedIn thing and then you have a conversation going. And then the next thing is you're going to make a phone call and you're going to say, I don't know you very well. What's your business all about? And then maybe you get together for coffee. But I have done this even at a national level, Wendy, where, you know, we have access to a database around the country. And for some of us, we can market our services all over the country. So not only marketing my services, but the national database, doing the LinkedIn connection, possibly sending an email, maybe even getting on the phone. What happens is I have found that I can connect with folks that do what I do around the country. And that's more a matter of mentoring and just batting around issues that are perplexing me, because there's a little less stress when you're talking to someone that's, 4,000 miles away or whatever, than that you can just share little tips and things. So right there, I mean, those things where I've talked one-on-one, and then what happens is if it's local and you had that conversation or you had that coffee together, the next time there's a bigger event and you walk in the room, those 2 or 3 people know you. And then all of a sudden that bigger event becomes a really meaningful knowing that you have others to go to in case of emergency. I mean, there are times when I might need somebody else to actually do work that overflow, so those are resources, that we should tap into. You have your chambers and so on, but there's nothing like the sisterhood. This is special to me. And I've also been known to say this is the place where you don't know you need it till you need it. And in a sense, some of the biggest advocates of NAWBO are the ladies who maybe have been through some sort of crisis and found this amazing support network right underneath their feet, holding them up. And I'm one of those, and I would not be here without my NAWBO sisters.
It's challenging times, obviously, since we aren't meeting in person as much. So what would you say has been your biggest challenge networking during all of this?
One of my challenges has been how to distribute all my goodies. I usually have the swag, and I miss handing those out, like, carrying around a basket and handing them out everywhere I go. So I'm doing more mailing,
Yep.
but I miss the hugs. I'm a hugger, and
I definitely miss the hugs.
I miss that human contact.
Back in the beginning of all this, you guys, Kendra and I had some things that we wanted to give out to some of the board members, and we drove around to all their houses, and so, it was a lot of work. I think we each did it separately. I was alone, she was alone, but because there were a lot, we have like 22 members on our board of directors, but it was so awesome. So maybe that's something, every now and then just drop in on somebody's office or home, even if you don't have an event. They don't have to invite you in. You could just bring a thing and say hello. I don't know. I'm desperate to see people, you guys.
See them in person. Does anybody else have anything that they found that's worked for them with networking or maybe hasn't worked?
It's been really difficult because I like to be with people face to face. One of the best things I learned about networking, when you take it way back to the beginning, is just go make a friend. And so when I finally got to that point where I could quit being nervous about going to some mixer or some event where I didn't know anybody and just go make a friend or two, it got so much easier. And now I know all kinds of people in all kinds of situations. And I've got people that will call me and say, hey, are you going? Can we go together? Except for the last how many months, there haven't been anything going on. And I really miss that personal contact. So I'm kind of struggling with how to keep those connections going, because we're all starting to get kind of burned out with Zoom also.
Mm-hmm.
Fatigued, I shouldn't say burned out, but kind of fatigued with it.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling that way. And I saw, Maria Olson that was on here.
Yeah.
I think she's a brand new member from the Quad Cities. And I think she just signed up last week. And I went, oh my gosh, I've got to go meet her somehow. And now she's not on.
Well, so hopefully
So
something
I'll
came
track her down.
Could
I think
email.
one thing, am I muted?
No.
No.
You hear me? One thing that's helped me with networking and building relationships is to have a contact management system where you can actually, people will share. People love to talk about themselves, and they'll share information, maybe what their kids are involved in or their pets or whatever, to come back and to actually build a file or take notes. So the next time you see that person, you can ask them how the soccer game went with their son or something like that. And that makes them feel, number one, that you were listening to them and that they're important to you. I think it's all about making people feel important and valued and seen.
Yes. I love that.
But it is difficult in this day and age. I will say that. It's challenging.
Yeah.
Hey, Trisha.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Trisha. We watched your video. Your and then she played your blooper.
But I didn't play the video.
No, we just heard it. We just imagined.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, lovely.
Tell you what, I've had a day of technical difficulties.
Yes, so have I. So have I. It's Monday.
You guys are great. You guys are amazing. Really.
Thank you, KT.
All of you.
So anybody else want to share, maybe just pretend pre-COVID, what your biggest challenges were with networking or what you found worked best for you? Whether it was NAWBO or a chamber or anywhere.
I feel like Trisha was in her video was talking to me about just trying to do everything and being everywhere all the time. and just being exhausted.
Mhm. Mhm.
I totally agree. It's easy to do.
Well, and I think it's good to try out everything, but then determine what fits your schedule, what fits the demographics of who you want to network with. And you have to think about not only potential customers, but good connections, because not everybody may be a potential customer, but they may be a potential mentor or a good connection to somebody else that you want to meet. So, you just have to think about it and then decide what your priorities are.
You know, Marianne, I know years ago, anybody know Adam Steen?
Yes, yeah.
Adam used to do a little shtick that he would talk about networking. Only his take on it was so refreshing and so different, and it was literally based in that very notion of who can I do something for.
Right.
It was really centered on who do I know today that I could do something for, and that it will come back. It will come back. And you just have to have faith. So I love that approach.
I used to teach networking 101 classes at the Iowa Center for their Dream Builders class when they met in person. And that was one thing I focused on. I can just say Adam stole it from me. But
Okay.
no, really, it's to turn your networking thinking around. Instead of I'm meeting this person as a potential customer, I'm meeting this person to see how I can help them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think NAWBO is so different than any other networking group because we're not just about exchanging leads, and we're not just about who can be a customer, because our focus is so much more fulfilling than that, in my opinion. I get more out of education, and not just the formal education talks, but just learning from other members, what they've gone through, how they fix things, what problems did they overcome. So, in that respect, I think NAWBO is a little bit unique networking situation.
I agree with you, Marianne. And whenever I have joined something with networking, it's never going in and on what can I, like you said, what potential customer can I get out of it? It always goes back to being a part of a group and having somewhat of the same alignment and the same mission and the same vision. Because when we go into it like that, it's organically just going to happen if it aligns already with what you believe in. And that is definitely, again, that's definitely NAWBO, because I talk about, and I joke about it, being a recovering networker. I mean, it was like a full-time job. And now I have my very limited groups that I give my time and my energy to. And what has happened with that is within those groups is where I refer business to. And that happened organically.
I agree.
It's the same thing, excuse me, but I used to, in working with CPAs at our firm, I would encourage them to think of themselves as a connector and make an effort to go and connect people that are going to help each other. It's the same theory. It's not what's in it for me, but what I can do for other people that really, really matters. And that's, I think, how you achieve success at networking.
I love what was brought up too about, and maybe that's what we should focus on for a while, since we can't meet in large groups, to get in that member directory, find someone who maybe does something similar to you, check in on how they're doing or what they're doing for their business, or find someone whose business would complement yours and you can be referral partners for each other. Just really reaching out to members, because I think a lot of people are missing being seen and heard.
Yes.
And so just to see someone, hear them, and just talk.
Mhm.
Amen. So you're saying be proactive about it, Wendy?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's real easy for us to kind of sit in this sucks, we can't meet in person. And I've been kind of doing that, but it's like, okay, now what? Now what?
Yeah.
Let's get creative. Let's do something fun. Let's,
So I love that. So maybe the trigger, if you find yourself complaining, call a NAWBO member. We could get a little tagline or something.
yes.
For a long time, I've been telling myself when I find myself complaining, because that's not my nature, but every day I wake up complaining anymore. And so it's count your blessings, right? That also helps. But call a member, call a sister. There we go.
Mhm.
If you find yourself complaining, call a sister.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
We could do the Ghostbusters theme song.
Oh, we could.
Call NAWBO sister.
All
That'd be
right.
perfect.
You two, get on it.
There are some friends that you can't talk to this stuff about because if they don't run a business,
Oh yeah.
you know, they're going to listen, but there's not going to be that level of understanding. So it's nice to know that you have someone that understands what that's like.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
For sure.
I've been yapping a lot, Michelle. Do you have anything you want to say? I'm calling you out.
I noticed I was still on mute. I think I've been talking, so.
Oh no!
There are people in the building. Maybe you think I'm talking to myself. Fine. That's awesome.
That's great.
You know what I really like miss about just life in general is random conversations. So, you know, when you would go to the gas station, you talk to the person with gas, or you'd go to the grocery store.
Lorraine.
With the nice lady in front of you or the guy behind you or whatever, or you'd go to a networking event, you talk to 6 people at the same time. It's not like you can just lean over in a Zoom meeting. Like Mary Ann's beside me in the window. I don't know if she is how, you know, I don't know what else you guys see, but I can't just lean over and go, hey, Mary Ann.
Right.
And that just drives me crazy because sometimes I just want to do that, right? And you just want to talk to people and have, you know, kind of offhanded conversations. So I've really been missing that. I have been reaching out to people I don't know in NAWBO. So that's been kind of my thing. Like, let's just take this chance to get to know each other, and we'll have another Zoom meeting. But usually the one-on-one Zoom meetings they're fun, right? And so you really get to talk to each other. I reached out to Kathy. I met Kathy a few months ago. Awesome.
That was fun.
Yeah. And it's fun to tell the story, and it's a lot more focused than it would be if it was in a group, but it's great too. So I totally encourage people to just reach out to people you don't know. And people are very open to having those conversations right now, right? They're like, let's meet each other.
I find it ironic that while we were talking about that, Lorraine pops in Trisha's window.
I know.
What'd she do?
It was like, did you
Yeah,
plan
Lorraine. Yeah, no. She was dropping off some papers for our goodies that we're mailing out this week to members. So you guys will have to be on the lookout for that. But yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, say hi real quick. We're on a Zoom call. I was going to say one thing that I love doing, but I thoroughly enjoy doing it now is snail mail. I tried to at least once a week, just send someone a card. Hey, I'm just thinking of you. I don't do it through text. I don't do it through email. I got some really cool Dolly Parton cards. I got some, excuse my language, some smart ass cards that like have funny sayings on them. And just, hey, you know what? I'm thinking of you, sending you a big hug. I'm here if you need me. You know, and that's also a form of networking, and there doesn't have to be anything attached to it. Truly just, I'm thinking of you.
Tricia, that is so true, because studies have shown that when we get the mail and we've got now everything's computer generated and labels on the envelopes, people will instinctively grab something that is handwritten, an envelope, and open that before they'll open anything else. So that is so important.
Love that.
And especially like, you know, when we were able to go to networking events, just following it up with a little card saying it was great meeting you. Or in this instance, we're not doing that, but just, when we do reach out to people, follow it up with a handwritten note. It means the world to people, I feel.
It does.
Trisha, I'm going to follow up on what you said. Doreen McVeigh with I Thrive.
I love
Like
those.
has fun little hot women thing. Like, you got this, girl. Give yourself some grace. You're amazing. So I've been sending these out. They're so much fun. Not that you have to do it that way, right? Any note is perfect, but these are just kind of like cheering up your girlfriend type little postcard things.
Yes.
So then I get to support Doreen and to make someone else happy. So it's kind of a win-win.
I love that. I love that. Love that.
Very fun. Very fun.
I bought those cards for Christmas for my daughter and daughter-in-law to send out to their girlfriends, and everybody was coming back ordering more. So they were really cute. I love those.
Yes.
So there you go. The old school things are maybe something we need to go back to.
Well, and you know what, if you all the things that are old school right now, so you can't buy a canning jar, you can't buy jars and lids to can anything anywhere, you can't buy pasta makers, you go to the grocery store, you can't buy flour and sugar. So people are really going back to their roots. So I think we're breathing in a different way and appreciate those different. So
I need a pigeon. I need a pigeon.
let me see if I can find you one, Trisha. I'll work on that.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle.
Absolutely.
Harry Potter and get an owl.
Yes. Yes.
Some owls in my neighborhood. I don't know how good they are, but I can make sense.
That'd be perfect.
So maybe that's something we could do. Like you could have a goal each month to reach out to 5 women in NAWBO that you don't know.
Oh.
Whether that's on social media, I would assume most people have like their work address in the directory. I'm usually
It's not completely up to date, but you can cross-reference it with LinkedIn. So us are on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and start there too, like add them in LinkedIn, that sort of thing. But yeah, I think Michelle and I were on the national call with the membership, and the current theme was that everybody just really misses connection, and so it's more important now than ever, I think, to just get out there, make a phone call. Yeah.
I agree.
Even when it's snowing.
In October.
More so when it's snowing.
What the hell? What the hell?
Yeah. I even grew up in Colorado and I'm just completely upset today. This is ridiculous.
That's funny that you say that. I talked to my son and he lives in Colorado, and I said briefly, it snowed 6 inches here today, and he said, oh, and then he just moved on to the next thing. I'm like, wait, hold on. This is big news here.
Yeah, like, no, we don't care.
In Denver, they don't care.
Nope.
Well, they had snow in, my friend lives in Arvada, Colorado, back in September. Like the kids' first day of school, they were wearing snow boots.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's no big deal to them.
No, he didn't care.
Some of you may know Penny Carroll, real estate.
Yeah.
She's
Yes,
a NAWBO
Penny.
member.
She's great.
Continues to grow. She's added yet another person to her lineup of employees.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
So
I
awesome.
love that.
if you feel like dropping a note to someone, there's a little congratulations for her.
Oh, wonderful. We'll do that.
Sure, Marianne. That's awesome.
Well, Jamie, I don't mean to call you out, but I just want to ask you really quick, as being a new member, how can we help you the most? Like, what are you most excited about?
For me, it's connection and the mentoring aspect. There's so much value in mentoring. And I know from you as well as other members that they have found NAWBO specifically to be just pivotal for that in their career. So I'm excited. Excited to see a few familiar faces and a few new faces.
I'm so excited.
Someday I'll get to see people face to face.
We'll get to have that follow-up glass of wine we had before the pandemic.
Right, when we were like, we'll do this again next month. And
Yeah.
here we are 9 months
Yeah.
And that was 7 months ago.
Oh,
It was.
Note
So I
to
guess that
self,
means
at our first big event, we're gonna have Kleenex everywhere.
I know, yeah.
hey, well, you guys, National next year is in New Orleans, and you better damn well believe we're all
Oh
going.
yeah, we are all going. We'll rent a bus.
Yeah,
Yes, it is one of my most favorite cities.
yeah.
Oh.
I'm in.
We will have so much fun.
That
It'll
sounds
never be the-
dangerous.
It'll never be the same with the Iowa ladies.
Well, Tricia, after we've been on a couple membership calls, we think the Iowa ladies need to make a little bit more noise because they just don't seem to be too aware of us.
Yeah,
Iowa, we don't grow potatoes.
No, we don't.
exactly.
And then sometimes they seem so surprised when we're first or runner-up in the membership drive or
I
some
know.
best practices. Oh, it's Iowa. Why
Yeah.
are you so surprised?
We have people there?
Yeah.
Would be this conference next year. We can have buttons made that have a map of the United States and Iowa circled, and we are here. We are NAWBO, Iowa.
That would
Yep.
be that'd be awesome, Marianne.
Write that down.
I can do
Yeah.
that. I gotta write it down or I'll forget.
I don't think we need hats or buttons. I think we need trucker hats.
I like
Let's
that.
really make a statement if we're gonna do it.
Can we get like those little temporary tattoos on our arms? Can we do that?
Yep.
Large format, please.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Thinking of the giant, those giant foam cowboy hats.
You think?
You guys.
Marianne
I
will
like
look us
hat
up.
hair.
They're gonna be like, those Iowa ladies are nuts.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
If they're attention, they obviously are not paying attention to the good stuff. We had to be crazy.
exactly.
I don't know.
Well, we'll
Yeah.
speak up next month, Michelle.
Okay, we got to do something. We'll have to plan it. We need to think about it. Make it.
Make a splash.
Next.
That was awesome.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of the week.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Me too.
And bye.
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 Oh, find the snow boots.
Bye.